Hello and welcome to IBM.TV World News.
Thank you so
Namaste.
much.
Namaste to the world. I am your host, Kimberly Calhoun. We have with us all the way from India, Ankit. Namaste, Ankit.
Namaste
Introduce-
and good morning to US. And we have Dr. Shruti, and she was a teacher when I was in school. And
Wow. She looks younger than you. She looks younger than you, Ankit.
so she'll share the secret. Why she's more younger to me.
Thank you. We all need that. We're going to live. We're going to survive this. Now I need to understand how to look as young and beautiful as you after teaching Ankit.
So, Dr. Shruti, ma'am, can you share something about yourself, and then we'll start the show?
Yeah, sure. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste. Many
Thank you
blessings
so
for a
much.
brighter future.
Yeah, I think just sit back, relax, and just keep on holding hope in this time when it is struggle. I think that's what all of us will be, going forward with, which will bring us, more positivity as we move on. So
Oh, I
thank you so
agree.
much for hosting me. And just to, pick up from where Ankit left, that I think we last saw each other about 2 decades ago, maybe more than that.
Not 2 decades. Not 2 decades ago.
So that's when
Is
I
that
started
old,
working.
Ankit? I want your secret, doctor. I want your secret.
I'll share it with the world today through you. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. So,
And, yeah. So, Dr. Shruti,
Explain
what do you do? Can you just explain so that we'll build up the show accordingly?
Sure. So, as I was saying, it's been almost 2 decades when I started my practice as a psychologist and a counselor. And then I upgraded myself with some feathers added to my cap of a life coach as well as an energy healer. So that's the kind of, multiple hats I'm wearing at the moment. So that's what I'm doing currently.
Great. So today we have Dr. Shruti as a life coach, and she'll be helping us how we should do the best and utilize those 21 days, and how we can stay calm and stay alert, and still the mind is active, and we don't have to take any kind of panic or pension, and we should not be panicking with the situation, and we have to live the situation the way we can right now. Yes, Dr. Shruti?
So, Dr.
Yeah, sure.
Shruti, I got a question before we go. Ankit is right. A lot of us are at home, and we're at home with our kids. They're usually at school. But you taught school, so maybe you could give us some techniques that will help us keep them busy and help us teach them as well. But some techniques to calm us down from not wanting to strangle them. And we got Nick on. Ankit, you want to introduce Nick real quick?
Sure.
Yeah. So we have Nick. He's the boss of our show, IBM TV. And he runs the show
I can't
from
hear you. Oh, Lordy.
Can you hear me? Am I audible?
I can hear
I
you.
can hear you.
Yeah.
I can hear you. You're good.
So we have Nick Palaveda. He's from Raleigh, and he's the founder of IBM TV. And we always look forward to work with Nick. And that's what I can say as of now.
Sounds good, Ankit. So, Dr. Jane, where are you from?
So I am a hardcore Delhiite from India,
Mhm.
from the
Okay.
heart of India, Delhi.
All right. Okay. Well, how do you do any work there? I heard they closed India down.
Yeah, we started our 21-day lockdown just today. In fact, we've been practicing since last 4 days so
Mhm.
that we are somehow trying to manage not to enter the stage 3 of Corona. So
Hmm.
that's the idea.
Okay.
So all of us are trying to pull our best, as we
Right.
can.
So how do you meet your clients?
So right now, I think we are blessed. We are in the age of technology, just like we are doing this session through video calls and video sessions.
Right. Okay. Oh, that's good. I mean, that certainly would work, So, okay. So we can all hear each other, but no, we're all good. You are
So
not.
your mic is mute, actually. You have to unmute your mic.
Who?
Me?
No, you're good. I can hear you, and I can hear and Kit. Okay.
Can you hear him now?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're good.
So you need to change your headphone, I think.
No. Let me
We
chat.
can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah. See, the thing is, the real problem is Kim.
So, I mean, viewers, there is always a technical issue while we do the shoots because we are from different cities around the world, and we have these kind of issues regularly. But
That's all
let's,
right. It happens all the time, so that's all
yeah,
right. And
Right.
I guess in the journey of 2 decades, I was saying I've been fortunate enough to work for various embassies and in the school setting as well. So varied experience. I was
Right.
fortunate enough to do that. So we always used to do global conferencing and all through video chat. So that's very common. It's okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Can you do your work remote then, Dr. Jane?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, I
Mhm.
have had that experience in the past
Mhm.
because when we were dealing with global projects in the international education field, we used to have sometimes remote meetings because of the time differences. So
Right.
I'm pretty comfortable with that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. So do you work just in India, or can you, because of the global technology, are you able to do your work all over the world, or are you just limited to India? How does that work?
So while the majority of my clientele at the moment is from India, but yes, I do have international clients like
Mhm.
students who have been born and brought up here and then they, go abroad to study. If they are looking for some sessions, or my old colleagues all across the globe, or if we are doing any delivering trainings, etc. So yeah, I'm pretty much all over the place, luckily, in this age of technology, as I said.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The thing is, technology's changed a lot, and the interesting thing is that if you're in New Delhi, right
Yeah.
now. Okay, see, you beam in as good as Kim, who's right down the street. She's in Raleigh, and I'm south of Raleigh. So the thing is, it's kind of interesting that the technology has really changed a lot and allows you to beam in from all over the world very clear, where years ago it was pixelated. Now it's just really clear.
So Nick, we got a chant on our show now. It's for the doctors. We're trying to save the doctors. So we say stay at home, use your phone. Stay at home, use your
Stay
phone.
at home, use your phone. Stay
Yeah.
at home, use your phone. Stay at home, use your phone.
Save your doctors, people. They need to stay healthy. If you have a fever, it's too late to fix you. It's too
Yeah, that's
late.
true. That's true.
Call in for
You're on the way out.
consultation.
Well, the data that I've been receiving, okay, like in Italy, they have a high mortality rate, but they also have the second oldest population in the world. Second oldest, behind Japan only, which obviously Japan is neurotic about it. And the mortality is really, if you're over 70, 85% of the deaths come from over 70. Young people, for the most part, are not affected by this. So as you age, it skews up the mortality tremendously. And that's kind of what the real problem is that Italy was facing. And my theory is, and you've heard it here first, okay, that in our great state of Florida, which has 25% of the population over age 60, we're going to experience the greatest mortality in the United States. It will not be New York. New York has a lot of young people, so they'll get sick and they'll go back to work. The people in Florida, they old. Okay, in some cities, they're real old. Okay, in St. Petersburg, they have 10,000 people over age 100. Okay, that's old. And so what's going to happen is when this thing infects Florida, and there's 190 flights a day from New York into Florida, that's when you're going to see the greatest mortality. So you heard it first here. It's just it's a projection, that Florida is going to get hammered similar to Italy. It won't be New York.
Well, I also want to bring up the statistics that we read today are very skewed. Because they're 10 days old. It takes 10 days to get the results.
Yeah, you're always getting delayed data.
Well, I mean, the death rate might be on cue, but the stats of who has this, we need the stats of how many kits they've sent out and tested. But now we don't even have enough test kits to test people, so that number's skewed. So,
see that's absolutely true. See, what happens with all data is all historical. So what you're always looking at is yesterday's news. But what you can do is you can actually look at yesterday's news and project into the future and see that by just depending on what lines you use. So as you project into the future, this is where the problems create. And then and the thing is, you can do it empirically, or else you can actually do studies on it. Well, we don't have a lot of time to do a study on it. Studies can take months. So empirically, you can actually look at data and do certain amount of projections based on things that are evidence that takes place. One is the mortality is obviously to older ages. So you got to look at the places in the countries that have older demographics: Japan, Italy, certain amount of places in the United States. And these are the ones that are going to get really hit hard, because like Germany has thousands, but they do not really have a lot of, it's not a heavy mortality in Germany, but they have a younger population. So India could get a lot, but I believe you guys have a younger population, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And they also have a stricter foundation for, abiding by what they're, being told to do by staying home. I think
wait. What'd you say? You guys actually listen to your leaders over there? Okay, go on. I was curious. See, this is a bunch of rebels. Somebody says go do this, and they go do something else.
This is Corona, people. This is my voodoo doll Corona, and we're gonna kill it this way, right? We're gonna attack it with our mind, and become happy, because I think germs can't get. When you're happy, your immune system's up, your mental state of mind is clear. You can focus on making the right decisions if you're told the right information.
Yeah, but also, how much does the immune system actually protect you? I mean, this is a good question. And
a lot.
Also, there's like, I played tennis yesterday. I thought, well, tennis is an innocent. We don't get near each other, right? But guess what? We all handle the tennis balls.
Yeah.
Okay, so I touch it, someone else touches it. It's so easy. If the coronavirus on tennis ball, now we all have it. I mean, that's just the nature. If one of them have it, we all have it.
Nick, the tennis ball may as well be this.
Yeah,
okay?
by the way, that is another problem. Okay, if you're handling money, and now in our banks, they're wearing gloves. The bankers are, but the individuals are not. But handling currency becomes a real problem. So I just see the only way to do it is you got to stay away from people, and go on, do things virtually rather than not so virtually. So we have a guest who's arrived, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dr. Nati, he's also
namaste.
from Delhi, and
I'm Dr. Vaibhav.
Namaste.
I'm a dentist.
All right. Okay. And you're from New Delhi?
I'm from New Delhi.
Yeah, I always wonder why they call it New Delhi. Why don't they just call it Delhi? Okay, the thing is, but Ann can explain to me there was an old Delhi and then there's a new Delhi. It kind of like expanded, so there's more Delhi than you can possibly imagine. So Dr. Gulati, how's the coronavirus affecting your business?
Oh, well, it is difficult to say. Amidst of this difficult situation, everybody is affected directly, indirectly,
Right.
So, right from the rural to the urban, every sector, every profession, every business, everybody is affected. So even we are as dentists, people are afraid to come to us also.
Right. Well, I would say that you're touching people all the time. I mean, it's very invasive.
Yeah.
So the thing is, did they shut your business down? I mean, what happened over there?
Probably the government is trying to do that. There is a complete lockdown these days, you see, because of the situations which have been, taken a toll in the developed countries. So it is rightly done by our Prime Minister to lock down and take the measures prior coming to the phase 3.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, how long is that going to last over in India? How long are they going to lock it down? What's the plan?
Probably according to WHO, we are just in the middle of phase 2 and phase 3. So I hope if we don't touch phase 3, we are just restricted to phase 2 only. Maybe the government is trying. Up till now, our Prime Minister has said that we are doing a lockdown of 21 days. Then let's see how the situation is. Yeah. How the situation is. It would be till 14th of April.
Right. Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
the mortality statistics I've been seeing, that this mainly affects older people, like India and Italy.
Yeah.
In Italy, it
Yeah.
was 85% of the people were over age 70 that had the issue, that died. Okay, I mean, they
Yeah.
got coronavirus, but they
Yeah.
actually died. But you have to be over age 70 to get that big mortality. Now, India, you guys have a younger population, so would it affect as many people over there as it would here? I mean, in Italy, in other words, India has a younger population.
Yeah. India has a younger population, but then when it comes to the older people, because of the the pollution around us, the living conditions around us, I would say that the living conditions not really good in India. As we see the pollution around, the environment around, the facilities around, as compared to the developed country.
Right. Okay.
So this thing which is, it is all about the coronavirus is all about the infection, the virus which goes into the lung, and it collapses the lung. Maybe
Yeah.
it it occupies a large amount of the space in the lungs.
Right.
So that is when the problem starts actually. Moreover, it takes a real toll on the older population, because there are a lot of ailments. They are already suffering with the low immunity problems, the breathing problems, and the other things are there. They are all susceptible to the other problems,
Right.
the other infections.
Yeah,
So that is why.
I can appreciate that. Being asthmatic, I tell people breathing is fundamental, because you do need to breathe. We have another person join us, Dr. Tulla. Dr. Tulla, where are you from?
Yeah.
So I'm based in Delhi in India.
Okay.
So I'm a plastic and cosmetic surgeon based in Delhi. So I've been practicing in this city for now 15 years.
Okay.
So,
How do you see this affecting, since India has a shutdown order? How does it affect what you're doing if you're doing surgery?
so actually we've stopped operating and doing OPDs for the last I think around 10 days odd. So
Right.
we've been very prompt in that our government has also been prompt in that they've tried at least to stem and try to conserve as much as possible for this outbreak. So that's how the medical community is also involved in trying to just shut everything except only work for the presumed COVID positive patients. So
Right.
all the surgeons and everyone else, they have virtually, like us and all the dermats and all, we virtually stopped work and only conserving all our energies and trying to do only work only for the COVID kind of contingency plan.
Right.
So
Right.
apparently there are no surgeries happening in hospitals except emergency surgeries.
Yes.
And I think that's the way we go ahead, and let's see how it goes.
Right. So what is your plan for the next 21 days?
So the plan is, honestly speaking, the plan has to be only three things have to be done, which unfortunately in India, since it's very overcrowded and we don't have a very, robust system of, getting people into lines. The most important thing again is there are only three steps which you have to do is one, don't get out of our houses until we have an emergency. Number two is social distancing. And then number three is keeping yourself, your house, and the neighborhood clean. So I presume if we do these three things, I think it's not going to be very difficult. The only problem is getting it into the heads of our own people that these are the three things which are very essential to be done.
So,
So
Dr.
our only
Tulla,
take-home message.
yeah, please
Yeah,
continue.
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
So, everyone is talking about social distancing. So, do you think social distancing is more important, or we have to have physical distancing rather than social distancing?
See, we have to try and shut ourselves in our houses unless and until we have an emergency, right? So apparently, the question again is, we Indians, as you know, we are not very, conscious of social distancing. I've seen this. I've been traveling a lot during my work profile also in the last 3 years. Even at airports, I've seen, even if we try to maintain a distance, people were never, they were always jumping queues and this was always happening. So even the educated people are not very open to social distancing, because I guess this has been the culture with ourselves. We now, this is a golden opportunity for us also as Indians to realize that ultimately we have to work it and work for a better tomorrow. The only thing is, if we can get some discipline out of this, I think it will be really good for our country also.
No, if we are living with a joint family and if we have more than 5, 7, or maybe 10 people living together. So I mean, do we have some physical distance maintained in houses as well, or I
So
mean,
we
we can
should, see,
yes,
then the question again is that we need to understand that the what is the age group of the population which is very prone to have the complications arising of this infection. So they are generally the elderly. So we should maintain a distance from the elderly. We should try and keep a distance from them. We should not try to eat together. I mean, we should try and distance ourselves as whatever we can. Unfortunately, if a person is positive in the family, I mean, all these things are going to go for a toss. But expecting that people are not positive in the family, I think this should be more than okay. And we restrict our outdoor movement to as less as possible. Even if we are going outdoors, it is very important that once we are inside, we remove our shoes out of the house. As soon as we enter the house, we remove the clothes, we take a hot shower. I mean, wash our hands. These are all simple tricks which we can do, and let us restrict ourselves to only emergency surfaces out of the house, and that too maybe one time of the day only. So it's not that every 5 minutes we are going out of the house and coming out of again inside.
Oh, we just had a new guest join us, Mohammed Alam. Mohammed, where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Delhi.
Delhi also. Okay, right. So what do you do in Delhi?
Yeah, I'm president of Rabdi Meher National NGO working for healthcare, education, and social justice.
Hmm. Okay, so how's the coronavirus affecting you in Delhi?
See, Delhi is a better place to take care of the coronavirus actually. The more
Hmm.
disciplined people out here and they are following the guideline of the government. Government
Okay.
has imposed going outside and we are following strictly. Everybody is following strictly.
Okay, this is not like the United States. Okay, you guys actually follow what your leaders say, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, all right. So how many infections? Maybe Ankit, you know this. What is the infection rate in India right now? Anyway, we have a I don't know, close to 40,000 cases or something
we
crazy.
have around 500 plus odd people who have positive
This is to be
cases as of
precise. Today it was 606. Today by today evening
now.
it was, to be precise, it was 606.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you're not even close to what we have. I mean, if you only have 600.
So the only
No,
thing
no.
is, in India we are not testing also. So
Yeah,
apparently this figure may not be a true reflection of what is happening around.
Okay,
true.
right.
But sir,
So because we have only
most
a
important
limited
thing.
subset of people who are being tested,
Okay,
and we have, so ultimately I don't think this is a true reflection.
right.
Over the period of days, it will evolve into whether we really are going to stem it down or it is going to snowball.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, if people don't venture out, we should be able to, I mean, contain it and it should not snowball out of our hands. But
Hmm.
I mean, just a wish and the fingers are crossed.
Right. Okay. All right. So the thing is, and so right now for 21 days, everybody's ordered in. What about people coming into the country? Can people like myself in the United States fly in and deliver some
We are
good?
not we are not allowing domestic flights as well. So I
All
mean,
the flights are closed.
there are no flights, there
I
are no
was
trains, there are no buses. All the borders of the states are closed, so no one can travel. It's kind of a situation where people have to stay there wherever they are for next 21 days till the time we have the next order to go out.
Really? So you closed your borders so people like me can't just fly in. I was going to come fly and visit you, Ankit. So you're telling me I can't get a flight to Delhi now?
So it's better if we meet like this. I mean, we are not inviting guests anymore.
Okay. Wow. Wow. That's kind of amazing. Now, how's it affecting the economy over there, though? If you guys are going to stay home, which sounds like a great idea, how does it affect the Indian economy?
The economy is, affecting, but as of now, what we think that if we stay alive, we can build up the economy. So that is
Okay.
the motto we are taking care of right now. And no one is talking about the economy.
Okay.
Some group there who are still making profit and loss in the share market, but apart from that, people are just staying at home and taking the best of the care and still making sure that the humanity is still alive and we can contribute and help each other the best way we can.
Okay. Are your grocery stores still open? The grocery stores?
All the essential items are open. So we have an essential pass where people who are doing those essential services, including medical and grocery, they have to carry the e-pass, and based on the e-pass, they can go out. Otherwise, it's a tough situation where no one can go outside, and also not more than 4 people can stand at a point.
Okay.
So that is
Now, here's something interesting here, and it happened in Australia too. We're out of toilet paper. Does that take place in India also as well? Are you guys all out of toilet paper for some reason?
So we are not concerned about toilet papers. We were concerned about the grocery items and the medicines and
Okay, the
milk.
grocery items. We were at the store yesterday. There's no milk and there's no eggs. Don't ask me why, but those were all taken. Has that happened to India yet, where no milk and eggs?
Yeah.
We are having,
No, we have enough
significant amount
grocery,
of
but still
milk.
people were in panic. That's why the panic buy happened, and people start stocking the item for next couple of months because we were not sure that till how much time it will stay. So that was the case.
Okay. All right. Kim, I'm going to leave for a little bit. Kim, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm just going to leave for a little bit and I'll be right back. Okay. Kim, are you there? Kim?
Yeah.
Oh, she took off. Okay. All right. So the thing is, so what are we doing? Since you're the psychologist, Dr. Jane, have you seen an influx of people coming in? Because there have been a couple suicides that have taken place due to this. The one in Italy, a nurse who thought that she was going to infect other people, so she killed herself. She had coronavirus. Have you seen anything like that at India?
So definitely, I mean, there has been a raise in cases of, anxiety and panic that has been coming in since the time this disease hit India. But incidentally, I haven't seen such an extreme case where somebody has committed suicide due to corona fear as of now. And hopefully, I'm hoping I should not see that. And I would say it's also one of the advantages that we have in India, that India really is a land of spiritual gurus. And people are a lot into the uplifting of their spiritual consciousness. And that's why, due to the culture and rituals we have day long, um, all those are helping very much to keep people grounded if they want to. So people are slowly becoming aware that this is the time to actually look inward, self-reflect, relax, take it a bit easy, and find some time for yoga and meditation if possible. Everywhere this is, being propagated more and more, because with everything locked down, I think it's a blessing in disguise kind of a thing. People are forced actually to stay indoors, and not all the time you can be on, social media and other stuff. So that is something that is balancing as well. But yes, in terms of clients, we have more of people who are reporting, anxiety, who are reporting fear of financial management going forward because businesses are completely shut down. There's complete lockdown. So that panic is there. And for that, people are approaching for sessions, and we are trying our best to, help through video sessions as much as possible.
So
Yeah, so Nick, I think, asked this question, and he's offline at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So we try to, circulate ourselves. So yeah, we can't hear you. So Dr. Shruti, there is also concern that people in not in India but around the world, they are in a panic situation that either they are suffering from COVID because of a basic flu or common flu, and they have a very psychological disturbances going around, and that hampers the family structure, and a lot of other things can suffer because of those panic. Flus or panic situation, and also the psychology is also not what people are not taking it strongly because of seeing a lot of news and a lot of deaths coming around. there are a lot of cases going around the world. So how should one take care of all those things?
So, see, that's very true. I think in India, as we are used to culturally, we are really used to having people around us, interacting very in physical proximity with our loved ones every day. And people have been now kind of forced to just limit themselves to their home boundaries as much as possible. So that's one reason why so much of anxiety is increasing. Secondly, because we are not testing yet, and this is a time when, due to season change, also a lot of flu and overlapping kind of flus, whether it is normal viral or other kind of flus, normally also go on. So people are getting that, and due to the fear that is operating, they are feeling that maybe it can be corona or not, and then people do not have that kind of courage that everybody will be coming out and sharing, even if somebody is testing positive, unless one goes to the hospital, which is a big factor. Because this is such an illness where till about 10 days, 8 days, you yourself don't know if you have corona.
Yeah.
So definitely there needs to be a strategy, a plan, and the simplest thing that a person can do is, as I said, at least 15 minutes of relaxed deep breathing with a count of 3, 6, 9, which means you inhale at the count of 3 to 4, then you hold it for about 6 counts, and then you slowly exhale it on the 9 counts. And while you are inhaling, if you visualize that your body is breathing health energy, it is very helpful to actually energize your cells and heal you, because human body is brilliantly capable to self heal itself till about a level. And obviously, when we are positive, it is a big booster in our immunity. Another thing we need to be cautious is that what we are eating. It is very, very advisable that you eat very light food, the sattvic food that we call.
Yes.
Stay away from foods which are junk and heavy. So basically, it has to be a balance of your paying attention towards your physical body, maintenance of your spiritual consciousness, and choosing to live healthily, and movement of energy, which will lead to balancing of emotions, which means that you should be exercising, even if it is yoga. So a lot of humming and chanting is good. You can do om chants for 10 to 15 minutes in a day, and hum the sound of by holding your breath. And what we do in asana, which we call brahmi asana, and if you google, you'll very easily understand how to do it. It's a very simple technique, and that is very, very helpful for lungs actually. So all these things, small measures, and plus every hourly, if you are sipping on about 1/4 cup of warm water, lukewarm water, that also is helping to get away with your dryness and other irritants and allergens that are around. So these are some things which can help.
Can we show some kind of an asana for a good breath to all our viewers around the world right now?
Sure. So the Brahmi Asana that I was mentioning at the moment, it's very simple to do. So what you do is you basically need to shut your ears with your thumbs. So if all of us want to do that, you shut your ears with your thumbs, and you shut your eyes with your these 3 fingers. Okay. And then you inhale your breath slowly after you shut both these senses. And once you have inhaled it full stomach, then you release it with a humming sound. So you can watch me doing that, and then we can try maybe all of us together. So
Yeah.
here I go, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that's the way you can do that. But the cautious is that because you're touching your face, make sure you've used sanitizers on your hands in this time.
Right.
And hold your breath as much as possible. Go easy on it. And then in terms of chanting Om, as you inhale at the count of 6. Hold it for 3 or 4 counts. And then release with a Om chant.
Okay.
The trick is when you are exhaling, your air has to be felt throughout your passage, right from your nose till the end of your pelvic muscle. Basically, that's it. So these are 2 simple things you can do.
What about fasting? I've read some studies on fasting. They said that fasting actually helps reboost your immune system. Is there any truth to that, or what do you think?
Yeah. I think fasting is a very age-old and scientific method, which is a very healthy method.
Mhm.
But the caution is that according to the condition of your physical quotient, that is your physical body,
Mhm.
how much time you can only live your body on prana, which is the life force, the universal energy through which all of us are, functioning in our lives on day-to-day
Right.
basis. How much of that you are able to hold in your space, basically. So instead of complete fasting, if you are not used to that, the good idea is that you have your meal and then take a break of at least 4 hours before you have another heavy meal.
Mhm.
In mid of that, maybe light snacking or taking a lot of hydration, liquids. That helps. So in this stage, I think it's important to maintain your nutrients and vitamins and the energy level. So it can be a combination of semi-fasting maybe, or maybe very beginning intermittent fasting, which means you don't take anything heavy after 8 o'clock in the night, and then you straight away take your breakfast around 8 in the morning. So it's a 12-hour gap, and in between that, maybe you can have green coffee, green tea, or warm water, or salt and lime water, so on and so forth.
Okay. The United States over here, in case you don't know, we have our plan is to print $2 trillion and give it out to everybody. Okay.
So
Now,
did you read the stimulus last night that I sent you?
well, the thing is, I'm trying to see if the bill's being passed. The stock market went up based on it, but I don't know if it's been finalized yet. But it's $2 trillion, by the way. Does the government of India have a plan to print 2 trillion rupees and hand it to people?
So government have already, donated or maybe kept separate for corona virus yesterday while the PM addresses the nation, and the amount is around $2 billion. But government in India, government never told us that whether they're printing it or what they're doing it. But we just know that they have a separate package for coronavirus, which is around $2 billion.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. So they're going to make an economic stimulus package over there also as well.
And I think Dr. Tulla must be knowing more about it because, he's from this fraternity.
Okay.
So our stimulus package, if you read
Sir,
it.
you need to unmute your voice. Let me do it. Yeah, now.
So, Doctor, let's talk about surviving this before we need a financial umbrella or a financial mattress to land on. But we got to survive this. We have 3 wonderful doctors here that can give us some great advice. Let's talk more on what we know the virus can do to the human body and how we can possibly self-treat if we have the virus. What are some things we can do at home?
So as I was, mentioning just a while ago, I think first thing we need to understand is that if it is already there, we are trying our best not to go into a proceeding stage. But till this stage, whatever has been already absorbed by the body, first we need to accept that without any fear. So dropping fear is the first thing. Because in 80% of the people, this is manageable and they can be healed and cured. That's what the trend and the studies are saying, whatever is happening so far. Secondly, as I said, the balance between your physical, your spiritual, as well as your intellectual and the energy level of the body. All these 4 levels have to be balanced. So regular exercise, things like yoga, meditation, chanting, light and simple diet, all these basic, paramedical things, all of them need to be followed religiously at the moment. Maintaining basic hygiene is another thing, and reminding yourself, like we said, reminders maybe on the cell phone every 1 hour, set a reminder to go wash your hands and have some warm water and do some 5 minutes, breathing, inhale, exhale, and do a self check if we are doing okay. Plus, obviously, positive motivation to all around us, whether it is in family, whether it is friends, most of it, because if we are motivated and we all are together in this, so if we learn the lesson of oneness and go with the flow, I think that would be the best strategy.
What about wearing gloves? Over here, they have gas pumps, and somebody said, well, the gas pumps are a great way to transmit the virus. And I started thinking about it. I said, everybody who pumps gas touches the gas pump. So I put on gloves yesterday for the first time
I
to
got an
pump
idea.
gas. Because
I
the
got an
thing is,
idea.
yeah.
Get rid of self-service and go back to full service. Then you only have one person touching the pump.
That's not going to happen anytime.
I miss full service.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
My window.
Actually, 2 states have that: New Jersey and Oregon. In the United States, you don't pump your own gas in 2 states.
So,
okay, so for those that don't know, but
we have 2 other doctors here too.
gloves?
Let's ask them what is their thoughts on wearing gloves and masks and glasses.
So the gloves part is based on a fact that you're presuming that you are touching surfaces or interacting with people who have COVID-19. So in that case, gloves are going to be beneficial, so that you're going to use disposable gloves. Once you are in contact with them, or the things which you presume that they will have COVID on their surface, you can use the gloves. But after that, again, dispensing the gloves off becomes a problem, because we need to be very careful that they are not just being thrown over the counter. We need to dispose them off well, and eventually every time we have to have a new glove. So I presume this is, in a country like India, it is going to be very difficult to implement. And honestly speaking, it will lead to more chaos rather than, doing much benefit to us. So I would presume that we should only leave it to the healthcare workers who are basically working with the gloves on, and to the people who are providing services like delivery of, groceries, and people working at the streets, the cleaners and all. So I presume normal people gloves, I don't think there's much role of gloves on it. Simple hand washing is more than adequate.
And Dr. Dula, there's a difference between N95 and the regular surgery mask. So what do you prefer at this point of time?
So I'll give you my take on it. See, I've been having this allergic cough for now nearly around 2.5 months, right? So apparently, whenever I am virtually into a kind of self quarantine at the moment. So I am away from my family. So I'm staying at my house, and the kids are with my parents, right? So apparently, whenever I am going outside, despite not having COVID, I still am wearing a normal surgical mask. The only purpose of the mask is to, not pass any kind of, even if I have a normal virus infection or anything, not to pass it to others. Apparently, that mask is not going to give me any kind of immunity from uh, a person who may have COVID. The only way I am going to avoid that is by social distancing, and keeping the hygiene clean. So mask, I would say that if you are suffering any kind of viral or any kind of cough, coryza, or any fever, or any upper respiratory tract infection, it is a kind of, you are basically avoiding spreading that to others. It does not give you much of a, honestly speaking, much of a safeguard for yourself. It is only that we as a, so yeah.
And also, I don't know why people are, looking forward for those N95 and those bigger masks. But I just wanted to ask you that when the doctors do the surgery, there are a lot of typical and complicated surgeries they do for long hours. They use those basic surgery masks. So how the situation
So there is a reason for that, because there you are not dealing with any infective cases. Please remember that when we are treating elective surgeries as well as emergency surgeries, we presume that the patient is not having any kind of, very rabid kind of infection, which is airborne, right? And especially in the operative theaters, we have basically a flow of air, which keeps on, you can say it's a kind of, it keeps on flowing again and again, and keeps on washing the, circulation is good. So this is typically a kind of safeguard which we, now the air purifiers at home are also having that technology only, which is basically an operation theater technology. So apparently things are very different at that stage. So apparently I don't think mask, I think, is more of an, honestly speaking, it is more of to save, others rather than you. And I presume that people who, like me, who are having cough and all, should be wearing mask when they are outdoors. Other people who are just COVID, my only suggestion to them is that if they are wearing an N95 mask, they have to ensure that the mask is snugly fitting. Otherwise, what happens is that the amount of air intake with that N95 mask is not great. So you are
Okay.
basically, if the mask is not fitting well, or you remove the mask, you are basically gulping in more air. So you are basically exposing yourself more to infections rather than normal people who are gulping normal air. And especially people with exercise who are exercising outdoors. They have to be very careful if they are wearing that N95 mask, because automatically when they are exercising, their tidal volume is going to increase, so they will be taking more gulps of air over a period of time as compared to normal people. So we need to be very careful with that.
Okay, great.
That is very nice to hear, Dr. Tulip, because I've been saying that all along. I'm not wearing the mask to truly protect myself from what's out there. I'm trying to protect people from what I might have. When I go visit my family who might be in the hospital and they need to be protected from germs, I go in with my hands covered, my mouth covered to protect them. So I think you're right. A distancing is the only way. Am I right?
Yes, yes, of
Distancing.
course, you're absolutely right. The only problem with us Indians is that we are so used to living in overcrowded kind of environments, and unfortunately, people just don't want to distance themselves. So I would even want to share an anecdotal thing. The Italians are also very like us. They are also very. I mean, they will hug people at the jump of a hat. So this is very typical of both our cultures. That is why we are more worried, because the same thing has happened in Italy because of the, people are not practicing social distancing. It has basically, blown out of proportion there. So, that is the only thing which we need to regulate in our country also. And I'm sure now, over a period of time, the people will get some sense into themselves, and they will start practicing it.
You
Sir,
know,
I also have a last question that, the COVID-19, does that affect your skin as well at some point of time? Or, we just have to take care of the flu?
So the only thing is it is a respiratory infection. So primarily all the action will be on the lungs only. So right now, I don't think we have that kind of research to say whether it's going to do anything on the skin. The only thing is that it should not be on the skin. That means
Okay.
that it should not be on the hands, on other surfaces of the skin, because theoretically there is always a chance of picking up the infection from there by your, if you touch other parts of your face, including your mouth, nose.
And do you prefer sanitizer or washing hands with soap or soap water or
Sir,
something
I
like that?
am a, I am a plastic surgeon, so I've been used to washing hands all of my life.
Yeah,
Honestly speaking, I get a lot of flack from my wife also that he's an obsessive, compulsive hand washer, right?
okay.
So now I think I am having the last laugh
Yeah.
on that. Please.
you know, doctors, the hair, the beards, these are all also means of carrying the germs. So we really need to learn to cleanse our hands and then our whole bodies as well, correct? I mean, we we need to take these practices because the clothes we wear on the street, the shoes, all of these things can be carriers if we're around people, correct?
So that is
And
why I told you
meditating
I
every day actually helps your skin to glow. Kim, you asked this question earlier. So it's scientifically proven now, if you meditate for 20 minutes a day, every day, then over a time, you will see that your skin will start to get better. And that goes for everybody.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
So there is
I mean,
there is only one thing I would like to add on. I would really request you through your channel to urge all our netizens, especially, that at this time I see a lot of. I think we should be only basically cracking jokes and trying to form a bomihai on the net. I I am really disturbed to see that many people on net are basically fighting over baseless issues.
Yes.
So I would really request people that this is not the time to do all of that. We should be positive. We should try to remain in Bhumi High kind of a situation, because these are testing times. I don't think petty issues are relevant anymore today. And I presume that we should crack jokes, we should share jokes, light-hearted banter is always welcome, but we should try and desist from any kind of negativity, because ultimately the more negative we become, I don't think it's a great thing to do.
I totally agree. As a matter of fact, there was a book written called The Power of Positive Thinking. And so the thing is, and it's still a great book today, that people that think positive change their lives in a positive manner, and people that think negative, well, they go a different direction. You may see that also, Dr. Jain, in your practice. Do you see the negative people that are out there, or all your people positive when they come in and see you?
No, most of them I would say are between negativity and the neutrality. So we have, that is what my job is actually, when they're stuck somewhere in some dip of their lives, to teach them the tools how to pull yourself up, and then it neutralizes first, and then we take them towards positivity. And I would want to add also that one of the universal laws that guides our lives is law of rhythm. So if there is a lot of stability and no up and down in your life, then guys, that's a danger signal, because your growth stops. So for us, that momentum is very, very necessary to be maintained. So yeah, I mean, that's a mix of bunch of people that come.
So spiritual mindset is a great way to survive this. I want to share with all of you, one time, more than once, I've been in a place where all different religions, race, nationalities, and they did a prayer that no one walked out of. They all prayed together, one prayer. It was all religions, all nationalities. Nobody was prejudiced to the prayer that they were about to pray. And this place was on the oil rigs during shift change. It brought tears to my eyes because nobody was prejudiced about praying to any God and one God to please let me live through the day to see my family when I'm done with work, because that's one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. I think that we need to understand this disease is not prejudice. This virus is not prejudice. We need to unify as a world and share our resources so that we can all live and enjoy our own religions, our own faith. But everything that you're sharing are things that other religions share as well. Find yourself spiritually, respect each other. Japan is having great success from the word on the street. They're not really sharing a lot on the news, but I worked with the Japanese for 5 years, so I understand their disciplines of health, their disciplines of cleanliness, and their disciplines, period. Like if they're told to stay home, we're afraid to leave. So I'm going to try to get more from them as well, because they've really controlled this. But I think all of you have said some of the wisest words I've heard. Dr. Sagu as well from India. You guys seem to have a strong foundation for respect. And I think that's what we need to get back to. I am frustrated too, because I look out among the people in America, and we're fighting amongst ourselves over politicians. We're fighting amongst ourselves over money. And we're not taking into consideration we just need to live another day.
Yeah, we do that all the time here, so don't ever listen to us. But by the way, it's interesting. Don't listen.
Don't invite us to your country right now.
Right. Yeah, I think Ankit goes, no, we just closed the border. I said, Ankit, I got my flights to go to New Delhi, and he goes, no, it's all closed. They heard you were coming over. Okay. Well,
they don't like the bloody Americans over here.
Yeah, I don't understand Americans. Prince Charles just tested positive for novel coronavirus. So the thing is, now he's up in age, so he's one of those suspect groups. But the Queen is even older. Okay, so what would be the recommendation? Should he have dinner with his mom, or should he stay away from his mom? What are your thoughts?
Respect your elders. Stay away.
Stay away, I think. And I think Prince Charles should quarantine and that is what the way forward right now.
What about Dr. Mohammed? You're very quiet down there. What is your thoughts on this?
See, I have my viewpoints when we talk about the India, especially. Indian food habit is different from the other parts of the world. We
Yes,
are
it is.
using much, yeah, spices. We are using spices very much, and mostly the green chilies, red chilies, and black chilies as well, and so many masalas and all spices. Actually, it is a very kind of preventive measure also. It protects, it improves our immune system, and yes, and prevents from the viral effects as well. And the other thing that we should understand the target group of COVID actually. The target group is below 5 years and above 65 years. So the people between 6 to 65 years should not be worried more like low, those are prone to the COVID, and especially those transplant people are more targeted group. So this information is very mandatory. And second thing, we should know how we can improve our army, internal army actually, the immune system actually. So personally, I am taking fish liver oil daily. So I am very much optimist, positive, motivated. I know one thing: this is very essential thing, the fish liver oil, and I'm taking a green chili every day. So green chili is
Chili.
also, yeah, green chili is every day, and I'm very happy and very motivated. I have two kids, and those kids are 5 and 6 years old, and they are using the chilies also. Because and second thing, we should have knowledge how we can improve our immunity first. See, we everyone has to improve the immunity with the help of spirituality, with the help of the food habits what we have, and the knowledge. It is mandatory right now. So younger group or group from 6 to 65 years should not be worried. And the most important thing, COVID is this time is a fifth generation actually. So fourth generation is already available across the world, and they are harmless. They are not giving any kind of dangerous situation. But even those patients going for the test, they are getting the positive results. So we should not be worried. My younger brother is in United Kingdom, London, and he got positive corona positive there, but he's improved because he's just 30 years old, and he was using the fish liver oil daily and green chili. I recommended him. So knowledge is power actually right now, and we should improve our immunity. This gives a boost, motivation, and lots of strength actually.
I agree with you.
Because
Vitamins, healthier lifestyles, build the immunity up. Exercise. We hear exercising, meditating. All of these things. I think we're told to stay home. Let's use this time to bring our bodies back to health
absolutely,
for a brighter future tomorrow. I mean, you're
absolutely,
sitting at home. There's no reason why you shouldn't be exercising. Maybe go out into the sunshine, get some vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin B. Vitamin B12 is beer, guys. All right. And beer has a high hydration body index hydration rate. So
absolutely.
BHI, it's got a very high BHI. Milk has a very high body hydration rate and protein. So I
Yes,
think we need to start
absolutely.
getting back to the basics. In
Yes,
America, we don't know how to do that. We eat potato chips and junk food. But I actually live off of my garden in the summer. I plant. And during this downtime, we've been planting seeds and trying to get a bigger garden prepared
absolutely.
for this year so that we can pick our food. But you're absolutely right. I believe in the herbs. I grow a lot of my own. Oil of clove, I think,
Excellent.
can kill anything, including humans. But oil of clove, a lot of people don't know this. This was used in the dentist office for a long time as an anesthetic, and it means to numb. And so it's clean, it cleanses, it opens, and it takes away inflammation. Mint is the same thing. It's refreshing, calming. all the things you're talking about, I think we need to get back to the natural.
I just like curry, so I just eat curry a lot.
Curry, turmeric.
Right.
Ankit and I talk about turmeric every day.
Yeah.
I always joke because it turns my skin yellow when I'm using it.
Right. Yeah. Sasha has just
I just want to add few things. I just want to add few things.
Sure.
See, we hardly spare time for the family. We hardly spare time for the family, and wives always say, "You are not having time for me." So what happens right now? We are locked down for 21 days, and this is golden opportunity to improve love life and to care, to listen the wives, the families, the children, and everybody, and even be socially active, improve positive things to the those peoples around the world, share some guidelines, something that can prevent the COVID. It is our responsibility. See, life and death is the perfect. They have their perfect time. But right now, we have to take care. We have to improve love for everyone. We should pray for every humanity across the world. We are Adam family. So we have blood relation with everyone. So
Yeah.
pray for everyone. Yes.
Yeah, if you can imagine a virus in Hunan, China, which frankly I didn't even know where that was. I had to go look on a map to find out, creates a worldwide problem. I mean, if you can see how interrelated the whole world is. Sasha has just joined us from Canada, and he's also lived, I believe, in Russia as well. Sasha, what's going on in Canada?
Okay, I'll tell you what's going on in Canada. Believe it or not, I went today in the morning to a local bakery. The reason is that today is my birthday, and they have a dozen of bagel for free to any people. So on, which I exactly did. So I got my dozen bagels. I already ate half of them, and cheese and so on. Now the place is empty. The street is empty. There are no cars. There are no people. It's just a different city. I mean, I'm not going out these days, as you understand. The last time I've been shopping, I think on Sunday. So every day is bringing a lot of changes. And speaking about this policy in Canada, it's not strictly enforced, I believe, as in China. It's not. But people obey this, and I think it works because although the cases are still growing according to statistics, but definitely slowing down, it appears to be. And we don't have any particular date in mind when we will get all back to work and usual life. It's unclear. It could take another 2, 3, 4 weeks, or maybe 8 weeks. Nobody knows. So we live day by day, knowing that until it's contained, we cannot really have a normal lifestyle as we used to. That's really where we are.
Well, happy birthday, Sasha.
Is it your birthday? Is it your birthday, really, Sasha?
Yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't get the dozen of bagels because they check your ID.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Have a shot of limoncello. Cheers.
Limoncello is ready.
It's healthy. It's fermented lemons. It's got to be healthy for you.
Right.
Ankit, it's Sasha's birthday.
Happy birthday, Sasha.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes. So party is due and
birthdays are from my niece Amiti in India. She tells me her birthday's every day.
So, Sasha, do you get any? You used to live over in Russia. Do you get any reports on what's going on in Russia in terms of?
I get reports. And also yesterday, I watched their talk show, and they discussed coronavirus. They are trying to do all this very politicized program where they showed incredible hospital facilities. In fact, they opened a new hospital in Moscow which treats only coronavirus. They don't do any other business. And there's a state-of-the-art facility which was just in the last few weeks, maybe months, probably weeks, and we showed the rate of success is fairly high. They talked to a few people who went through disease, and they describe all stages and how they recover, or so on. And don't forget that now in the city of what is it? In Ural, Yekaterinburg, there is a chess candidate tournament is being held. And again, they had a lot of discussions whether to cancel this tournament or postpone it or whatever. And the president of International Chess Federation, Mr. Dvorkovich, was absolutely adamant that regardless of what the tournament being held, in spite of the fact that U.S. Grandmaster Caruana had difficulties even physically to get there. And now I think he's regretting because it's very unclear how he'll get back to the United States. Absolutely incredible situation. I think he will get stuck there for a few months.
Well, he should watch the Tom Hanks movie when he got stranded in the airport, right?
In Paris. It was a true story. And the thing is, Fabiano Caruana could end up in an airport somewhere and living there for a while.
This country still exists. It's not exactly the case.
I know, but he may be in an airport somewhere. And he's definitely not going to go back to Italy. And he's going to have a hard time getting back here. Shipley,
let's put out a word about something about that. For those people who are stranded in other countries, call the embassy. Ask them for some help if you don't have a place to stay, if you ran out of money for food because you were there on vacation. Call your embassy. Please. Don't be stranded. Don't be alone. Call us. Go to.
And if the messages are not picking up the calls, they can reach out to 5am TV. And we'll try to help them out the best way we can.
Exactly.
We have a world, and I think Nick can share more details about how we can help.
We help out all chess players that are stuck internationally. So the thing is, we'll figure a way to do that.
Nick and Sasha, and any woman here, I learned something the other day about chess. You can lose 6,000 calories playing chess.
Sure.
Pushing the pawns.
Yeah. Well, it's a
calories.
It's a brain game, and it uses up a lot of energy.
It burns the brain.
Yeah, and we have a lot of chess players on IBM TV. As a matter of fact, one of the chess sites called chess.com has about 30 million people that visit and go to that. So there's a big chess cult that follows IBM TV for what it's worth. Okay, but Shipley, we just arrived.
So we have Shilpi Agarwal. She's my sister and she's from Raleigh.
Okay. All right.
Where are you from?
You have to unmute. Didi, you have to unmute the mic. Unmute
You got to unmute your mic.
Where is she from?
She's from your place.
Oh, Raleigh?
Raleigh?
Unmute.
Unmute.
We can't hear you.
We need to sit down and have a talk.
International. Shipley, you've got to unmute.
Ankin has a family tree that is global. Ankin can have his own show.
Okay, it's a mute button. She needs to hit
a mute button. You just have to unmute.
Mute button at the bottom. At the bottom, there's a mute button. Oh, in case you don't know a little bit about this technology, we're limited to 6 people that can be on it at one time. So that's one reason I might be going backstage for a little while.
Well, we're going to take turns going backstage so I can get some things fixed. But as you notice, we're getting better. I'm working on the technology.
Yes, right.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, you did good. You did good. Okay, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm from Cary, North Carolina, and I think people over here are being just responsible citizens, and they are taking self measures and not coming out of the house. But I can still see a lot of people, outside walking, and people are still doing morning and evening walks, which I think is still okay. But I think we still need to take some more strict measures especially in US. Because I was just reading the other day that in California, in spite of the lockdown, people are found on the beaches. So I think we really need to take it seriously. This is only one chance we'll get on this, and I think people are still not serious about it, at least over here in US, and that is the reason it is spreading very very fast over here.
Cary, North Carolina. Are you serious? So how do you know Ankit then? He's way over on the other side of the world.
It's family.
Yeah, his
What?
family.
Oh, wait. But you live in the United States. Ankit just told me you can't go back to India anymore. They just closed the borders.
Yeah, but I'm living here. I have shifted. I've moved in Cary, so I'm with my family. My in-laws are also with me, so it's all good. But hopefully, I'll be able to go to India in another few months.
Yeah.
Does Ankit ever come visit you, or does he stay over there on the other side of the world?
I have just shifted to Cary. It's been like 8 months.
Okay.
So I'm sure Ankit will be coming and visiting me.
Okay. What brought you to Cary? That's like thousands of miles away. What's the deal?
Yeah, my husband is working in Lenovo, and he got an opportunity over here, so we shifted.
Okay. Yes. Very familiar with Lenovo, which used to be IBM, by the way.
Yeah, I know that because my husband has been in Lenovo for a long time. He was working for IBM only.
Right. Then it was sold to Lenovo. Now it's Lenovo.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay. Wow. Well, you're not too far from where we live, by the way, because I am actually in Sanford, which is south of Cary, and I'm moving to Raleigh. As a matter of fact, I bought a home in Briar Creek, so I'll be up in Briar Creek tomorrow. As a matter of fact, because we're fixing up our home before we move up there. So you're close by.
Welcome to Raleigh.
Oh, great. Yeah, but we can't meet each other because there's this
social distance.
We'll get together when all this stuff is over.
Definitely.
Okay. Oh, speaking of which, when is this all going to end? Because I got a lot of work to do.
I don't think so.
Ankit, when does this stuff stop? Talk to me.
About 2 months.
2 months. Okay, so I got to sit around here for 2 months. Great.
So I was reading somewhere that it will take around 18 months, but I don't believe in that news. But I think it will carry for around a couple of months. But you can work from home. You are doing it from past so many years. I mean, so not a good or not a good for you.
Okay, so you're telling me we got to run this coronavirus show for 2 months? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, we're going to expand on it, and it's not going to be this particular show. We're building positive reinforcement shows where people can learn how to meditate, self-detox here, health detox, but also how to rebuild.
Okay,
right?
so
we're going to have shows of maybe business plan, how to do business plans, how to do
how to
build
work from home,
business,
how to work from home.
How to work from home.
Actually, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, we can do a lot of family activities now.
You know, my wife actually had a virtual book club. We had a virtual church meeting. I mean, we've did this the last couple of weeks. We could have a virtual psychologist. I mean, you can do almost everything virtually. Obviously, Sasha knows chess has been done virtually for years, but a lot of this stuff can be done virtually. And some people, it's their first experience. They've used Zoom. IBM TV viewership is up 430%. I was looking at the demographics. Are you kidding me? It's because people are sitting at home. They go, I have nothing better to do. You know, it's the first time in their lives they're going like, I got to work these, these social media sites for the first time, or Zoom for the first time, or GoToMeeting for the first time. They've never used it before. So it's really changing that. And like I said, we're limited to 6 people on at one point in time. So if you go backstage, it's just the nature of the beast of this thing. But, there's a lot of people that are watching this. I watched the demographics climb on IBM TV because I'm going, well, you're home and you have nothing better to do. So we're going to try to start showing movies, Kim, through there's a RevShare movie situation, which I sent to you. We just got to link the movies in. We do have some movies that are running right now, but we're going to expand our movie distribution. Some of it's going to be free. Some of it they charge for. It's the name of the game. And the dollar store we're going to offer discounts so that you can actually buy things. I don't know if you can buy toilet paper, but you can buy discounted things through IBM TV on the dollar store.
So Nick, just to give you an idea of, I tell people, go to Amazon if you want to buy anything.
Right.
We had this talk yesterday. One of the doctors, I think Dr. Sagu, told us order your food and have it delivered.
Sure.
So when you do that, or your product, let it sit on the outside for a while, a couple hours, so that the disease, if any, is gone.
Is it a couple hours? It could be days. I mean, the thing is, I've heard it's like 3 days to 14 days.
I think he was advised, but you can also spray it.
Yeah, spray it. Yeah.
But my fear was I'm going to feed every raccoon and make every raccoon in the country happy, right? Because I'm going to leave my food.
Yeah, right. You live out there, the raccoon will eat it. Yeah.
And he was like, no, we have food lockers. And I'm like, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
I just to let you guys know, because everybody's staying home, right? We're not, their cars aren't on the streets. I'm sitting here going, the deer are having happy dance.
They show the pollution has actually gone down. Tremendously, like in Los Angeles. It's really gone down a lot in California. So we've seen a totally decrease in pollution in New York, et cetera. So it's actually had a good effect on our global ecosystem.
LA, you can see the skies.
I know, right? By the way, in Venice, which I just came back from, but it was several months ago, it was in October. When I went to see my doctor, I told him I just got back from Venice. They go, the doctor was about to leave. I said, no, it was like in October. Okay, they were trying to run away from me like I'm infected. I came from Italy. But here in Venice, it's true. If you look at the canals, they're all dirty because they run the taxis up and down all the time. Today, it's crystal clear. I was going, wow, it really is water because all the taxis had to stop.
I have a revelation.
Amazing. Yeah.
I have a revelation. What if this is nature's way to reset itself and heal itself by making us stay home? Maybe this is something happening because the earth can heal itself. The corals were dying.
Well, sure. I mean, the thing is that and the thing is, it'll maybe the self-correcting method that remember, Australia, Willie Hill's not here, but he may be backstage. But when there were fires in Australia, what solved the fires in Australia? It wasn't the firemen. It was all of a sudden nature brought these big rains in, and it rained in Australia, and it wiped out all the fires. Okay. Now, with that in mind, hot weather might solve this problem. As it starts getting hotter and more humid, the coronavirus may break down. Some people have said, well, it looks like it's affected by hot weather, like a lot of viruses are, and the humidity. And so the thing is, a natural course may take place, but also what we're doing is giving us time to get to that hot weather.
So I have a problem with that theory.
Well, Africa doesn't have that much. India doesn't
have. Does it have to be?
I don't know. It could be, but if you look at all viruses, it's not just coronavirus, which apparently is a mutation of Corona 19 is a mutation of corona. At least that's what I've heard. So the thing is, if you look at all viruses, the heat and the humidity tend to mitigate, which makes it seasonal. Now, if you go look at the demographics, you look at Africa. Hardly any. There's a lot of places in Africa, why isn't it just beaming with coronavirus? Well, bloody, it's hot in Africa, and it's humid in Africa. The weather's horrible. Viruses don't like horrible weather, so they don't do too well there, And we're going to listen. We're going to get that horrible weather here in Raleigh. It does get hot and humid.
Yes,
it's nasty hot.
Okay,
I have a question. My body's 98.6, and it's very moist and humid inside. Why is my body a host?
It's not good enough. Okay, the thing is, you need that hot weather that goes on all the time and do that. But if you also look at that, young people, they're not as affected. If this was if you cut off people over 60, okay, and said let's say they just didn't even exist, there may not even be a crisis because they go, look, it's just a natural amount of people that die of the flu that usually have a pre-existing condition. So nothing may have happened. But the real problem is you hit that age 60 and the statistics skyrocket. So that's the problem. Happy birthday, Sasha. Okay, but the thing is, you hit that demographic group, and see, those are the ones that are ill and dying. Like 85% of the people in Italy, they were over age 70, and they're the ones that passed away. The mortality is very, very high. So as you're pulling the demographics, it's older people. So maybe we should just quarantine older people. Forget about the young people. Let them go out and do what they want. You know, if you're under age 60, go at it, baby. But if you're over age 60, you need to go somewhere else. Yeah.
First of all, beside Africa, there is another huge area where there are no coronavirus cases. You know what it is? It's Siberia.
Yeah, Siberia, but no one lives there, Sasha. Who can live in Siberia?
Why there are no coronavirus? Because there are no people.
Because there are no people.
That's right. There's no people. There's nothing that lives in Siberia.
Now, I want to tell you something about Italy. That a big problem there is that there are a lot of multi-generational dwellings. There are a lot of people who live with their parents and grandparents in one flat, for example. And of course, this is why it became so contagious, and so many older people unfortunately passed away in Italy. And it's not easy to mitigate that, because what you're going to do what you're going to do with older people, with grandparents, where are you going to put them?
Yeah, and see, the thing is, if you look at what happens empirically, the little kids all go to school. They all touch each other at school. Then they come home, they hug their grandparents, and then they kill their grandparents. Okay, I mean, that's really what goes on. I mean, if you look at it,
it's not life-threatening for the youngsters, but the problem we can always carry it. So we youngsters are also carriers of coronavirus, and that's how we spread it.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's the younger people are the carriers, and the people that die are the people over age 60.
Yes.
At least that's what I've been seeing. And it looks like in the warm climates, it tends to be mitigated, not completely exempt, because look, Africa would be full of the coronavirus. They have a lot of Chinese run over there because they think, well, this is a great place to invest. Okay, it would be totally a disaster, but it isn't. But that's because I think it's because it's too hot, you know. Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, time will tell. But we do need to get since most people live in the northern hemispheres, we need to get to the warmer climates to see if this thing breaks down in the next couple months.
I think it's our healthy lifestyles. We live in the warmer climates.
Yeah,
I don't think it has anything to do with the warmer climate, other than we live a healthier lifestyle.
Well, it hurts too, because if you have a pre-existing condition and you're over age 60, then your mortality goes up. Since we've been checking all the mortality statistics, who does it really affect? Older people that have a pre-existing condition or a deficient immune system, then their mortality increases dramatically. Young people that are in good health kind of bounces off. It's another flu. So
we need to get back to eating healthier, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I
ate my banana already, but we need to start eating an apple a day, some lemons. I've had lemon juice, oranges, grapefruit.
Yeah.
I looked at that video of a grocery store where all the shelves were empty, and all the fresh produce was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's
nothing wrong with this. All the fresh produce was still there. We could be eating healthy today, build our immunity. If you can't do anything with that food right now, and you fear that it's going to go bad, can it, bake it, freeze it, pickle it, pickling. What a concept. Or freeze dry it, right? All of these things retain the vitamins inside of them that you can eat tomorrow. And we're not doing that. We're doing weird things. And we're running out of toilet paper in the grocery store. Ankit, what is your thoughts on that?
So I think we should not be panicking and stay calm, and we can do whatever things we have built so far. And we have to stay alive, the humanity, and keep doing the hard work. And we can fight it out. I mean, today is Corona, tomorrow could be something else. That's what I was saying. And also, I believe that this coronavirus is very egoistic. If you talk to them, then only he will come to you.
Absolutely,
Otherwise, if you stay
absolutely,
away from him, I mean, we are good to go. So
absolutely. Then
we don't have to be more ego, and we don't have to take too much of ego against the virus and
right.
stay away and stay at home and do whatever you can do. And I mean,
Okay,
that is what I
Puneet,
can say right now.
I have written 10 commandments for to stay healthy. 10 commandments
Okay.
to stay healthy. Oh, one is sleep 8 hours. Second is stay at home. Third, green chili a day. Fourth, use orange. Fifth, take fish liver oil and take protein powders or protein supplements, whatever. See, sip lukewarm water every hour. And eighth is do not worry if your age is in between 6 to 65 years. And ninth is share FAQ. FAQ is very mandatory. Frequently asked questions. Those who are not aware about what
Yeah.
is happening and what is the ins and outs about the COVID. And lastly, list your family members. This is a golden opportunity. Thanks.
I agree.
So,
Thanks.
Prabhas, I would like to know because last time you mentioned
Okay,
that
something
70% of the raw materials of vaccines
I
are
just
from
want to
China.
come up with
So,
as a dish, which is
yeah.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please.
Yeah, Dr. Gulati, you want to say something?
Yes, Dr. Galati.
yeah, something I want to really tell people and people around us that there is a strong illusion. What we are is just to protect ourselves when we go outside. It's the usual mask which we use in on a daily basis. All right, like those surgical masks and the dental masks which we usually put on the faces, the tie-up masks. So people, when I go out on an emergency basis, maybe to just for a grocery or something like that, just to buy the medicine. So I see people wearing those masks. Let me tell you all that those surgical masks, those three-layer masks are not at all efficient stopping TB or corona. So these are things rather, those masks have those filters in between. If you unlayer those masks, you see those filters in between that. So when you go outside, you carry all those bacteria. You carry all those bacteria which are supposed to be outside your home. So the masks which effective in this is they are 3M FFP3 FFP1. I'm telling all this which is subject when you just check it on Google, and there are masks which are FF3M, FFP1, FFP3 masks. So amongst them also FFP3 masks are the are those kind of masks which are actually able to we are able to protect ourselves from corona or any disease which is transferred through, which is the airborne disease. Because what happens is those masks are tightly sealed. Those masks are tightly sealed. Even if you spray some, you know, um, uh, some deodorant or something, some any of the sprays which you use when you spray it near you, wearing those masks, those sprays are just unable to penetrate to your nose or to your mouth, to your this lip nose area. So that is the real test when you can really check upon this whether the when the bacteria or the some of the things which are not carried inside. So people are, I don't know why people are using those masks. And yeah, very true.
That it's the seal,
Yeah, and there's a way to wear
and
it
then you have
also.
your
There is a
filters.
proper true.
There are different kinds. You're
Yeah,
absolutely
they are
right.
different kinds.
We need to be careful
True.
and no false illusions. No false illusions. We need
And
you're
that
very
too,
right. We need to be very careful.
those masks, ideally speaking, those masks when we are using mask FFP3 mask, mask, FFP1, 3M mask, they are also ideally they are supposed to be changed, after every 2.5, 3 hours. So that is the ideal protocol which should be used. But again, maybe you can just linger it on for a day or so. But above all, those surgical masks, those handkerchiefs and all, which are of practically of no use. Rather, you are filling up all the organisms inside the filter, which should have been on the streets.
I agree. We have Dr. Yu from Philip Yu from LA, Los Angeles area. He does stem cell research. Namaste. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Good
Hi,
morning.
can you hear me?
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Just trying to stay alive during the zombie virus apocalypse. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing humor. People, Dr. Yu has some amazing videos that he has put out about what this virus is. He actually did what I wanted to do, but I self-quarantined 3 weeks ago and I didn't have anything Play-Doh-like. I always make it sound like it looks like one of these stupid balls, right? That's what I tell people, but it's spiky. It's got little points and it gets in your body. But he's got a beautiful video to watch. But share with us today a little bit about the news and your research and what's going on to help us calm down a little bit.
Well, the COVID-19 virus. It's the protein spikes on the ball, surrounding it. The way it works is when the virus gets in your oral mucosa or your nasal mucosa, it goes down your throat and it ends up in your lungs. And once it's in your lung tissue, it attaches, the spikes attach itself to your healthy cell. And it literally hijacks your healthy cell's machinery and it starts making more coronavirus cells and it spreads in your lungs and it overwhelms your immune system. So the best way to defend yourself is to prevent the virus from entering your oral and nasal mucosa by not touching your face with your hand. And obviously proper hand washing, sanitation. And then the second line of defense is keep your oral mucosa, nasal mucosa clean. So that's why you want to drink a lot of water, because the water will flush pathogens in your mouth down to your stomach acid, and the stomach acid will kill the virus or bacteria. The good thing about coronavirus, it's a very weak virus. The outer covering is a lipid layer, and it's easily broken down with soap, detergents. So you want to make sure you wipe down all your counters, because they can live for 24 hours on metal surfaces, counter surfaces. And then you want to take hydrogen peroxide and a Listerine, and you want to swash it in your mouth twice a day and gargle it.
Oh, great.
That way, if the virus does enter your oral mucosa, the hydrogen peroxide and Listerine will kill it. You could also get what's called a neti pot. It's a nasal irrigation system. They sell it at any drugstore. You want to clean out your nasal passages once a day. There's a little salt they give you, and you can put like 3 drops of hydrogen peroxide in the mixture. Warm water, irrigate your nasal passages. Also, do not touch your eyes. Pathogens could also enter your ears. So you want to irrigate your ears, put 3 drops of hydrogen peroxide in your ears once a day to keep that clean. So the best defense is not letting these virus spores get in your lungs. Now, the third line of defense is to keep a strong immune system. So if there was one supplement I would choose, it's vitamin D3. And you don't really have to buy it because you have free vitamin D3 from sunlight. So you want to be in the sun as much as you can every day and expose as much as your skin to the sun. That makes vitamin 3, and that makes something called 1,2,5-dihydroxycholecalciferol, which is hormonal vitamin D3. You should also, if you can, supplement with at least 5,000 international units of vitamin D3 with vitamin K2 in liquid form, preferably fish oil for absorption. You can also take at least 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C 1 to 3 times a day if you're not sick. If you are sick, 1,000 milligrams every 2 hours. Make sure it has rose hips or bioflavonoids for absorption. However, the best form of vitamin C is called liposomal vitamin C because that's absorbed in the mouth and also it survives the stomach acid. Problem with most off-the-shelf supplements is they're not absorbed because the stomach acid breaks it down. That being said, you should protect 80% of your immune system, which is in your gut, your intestines. But because most of us have been taking antibiotics when we were younger, or you take NSAIDs, you're destroying your natural good bacteria in your gut, and you need to restore your healthy good bacteria. So you need a good pre and probiotic. Again, most things you buy at the store is not good. It's broken down in the stomach acid. You need a spore-based pre and probiotic because the spore is the outer liposomal covering of the probiotic molecule, so it survives the stomach acid and it's absorbed in the gut. And then you want to take zinc as well. You could suck on zinc lozenges, which is antiviral. Again, I'm going to go back to sunlight because the UV light actually kills viruses too. It can kill it around your lips, open your mouth, make sure the sunlight goes in your mouth. You also want to breathe through your nose because that makes nitric oxide. Nitric oxide also kills viruses and pathogens. You can also drink beet juice, which also can increase your nitric oxide levels. There's also light emitting diodes. You could irradiate your nose and mouth to create some nitric oxide. Light emitting diodes or laser therapy can actually cause photobiomodulation to increase your mitochondria, which are your cell's powerhouse, to give you more energy to fight off pathogens. It also reduces what's called your redox potential, reduces inflammation, because the virus also causes inflammation in your lungs. So the light emitting diode, which causes photobiomodulation, is also anti-inflammatory. That being said, you should also eat an anti-inflammatory diet. Cut out sugar. Sugar's the enemy. This is the time you want to go on a ketogenic diet. You want to get healthy fats, omega-3 fats, omega-3 eggs, grass-fed beef, organic raised chicken, organic fish, poultry, even maybe some organic pork, all the green vegetables you can, certified organic. Most vegetables are sprayed by glyphosate. Glyphosate is a carcinogen, so you want to make sure it's organic vegetables, grass-fed animals you eat. Our ancestors were cavemen, we're hunter-gatherers. We're not designed to eat all this grain, all this gluten. That's going to put a heavy tax on your immune system. It's going to ruin your gut lining, causing leaky gut syndrome. And then your good bacteria is going to leak away. So you also want to do fasting. Fasting creates your body's natural killer cells. Because when you have toxins in your body, that excretes waste products and causes systemic inflammation. Also, fasting increases your body's endogenous stem cells, and your body's stem cells causes immunomodulation. The stem cells also help to fight off the viruses and pathogens by increasing your immune system. That's why people over 80 who are immunocompromised are the ones that die from coronavirus, because they don't have a high stem cell count. That's why babies and very young children, they don't die from it because they have a high stem cell count. So there was a couple studies done in China that they cured the coronavirus patients, elderly patients, with stem cells from donated human umbilical cord tissue, because those young stem cells help the elderly fight off the virus by immunomodulating or increasing their immune system capacities. And they're giving the elderly's old stem cells young mitochondria, young ATP energy to fight off these pathogens, and they're anti-inflammatory. So these are the best ways to protect yourself from the COVID-19 virus. There's always new things coming out. I think the news media, I think they're controlled by big pharma. So you don't hear about these natural alternatives, sunlight,
we agree with you.
Stem cells.
We're not paid for. We're not a paid for network.
Exactly.
We are all nonprofit. All of our shows are nonprofit. Our sponsors, they have to understand that we are here about information, education. We have a sound obligation with when we took on the name IBM, we could not do profanity, pornography, drama, politics. We have to be information education. So I agree with you. Most of media, especially from what Nick and I have worked with in the past before we started this, we always heard if it doesn't bleed, it won't lead. And I have learned so much. I've learned to be real quick to see when press are being told what questions they can ask and what they can't, because I hear a bunch of dumb questions, and I know the press is not that stupid. So I agree with you, Dr. Some of the things you've told us are things that they withheld from us.
Yeah, I mean, even these companies that are advertising natural supplements to boost your immune system, the FTC shutting them down. Because why is the FTC, they're sending these warning letters of, oh, you can't say colloidal silver helps your immune system to fight the coronavirus, you can't say this or that. Why are they so quick to act all of a sudden? Usually it takes months or years before someone gets a warning letter. Shouldn't they use their energies to find a solution to this? It's
I agree.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yes.
About this.
Yeah, like if you don't believe big pharma is big here, if you watch any major television network in the United States, you're gonna see commercials. And guess what the commercials are? Besides lawyers asking for personal
Google is, they invest in big pharma. They have a big pharma division.
Yeah, but it's all about these weirdo drugs that they actually push all these drugs here.
Yeah, and if you search for a condition, like let's say, lung disease or pulmonary fibrosis, you'll see in Google ads a bunch of pharmaceutical companies for lung diseases. Right. It's totally illegal.
Yeah,
it's totally illegal.
It is amazing to see how big pharma actually, they're the big drug pushers, push their drugs on the American population daily on what they call it. They do commercials here all the time. Now in India, I'm not that familiar with it. And Mohammed, do they have a lot of advertising on drugs over in India?
They do it. I mean, it's so. I mean, Mr. Alam would be
Yeah.
sharing his thoughts on the pharma industry.
Yeah, I'm representing Indian pharma industry actually, and organizing the Pharma Ratna Award for the global community actually. So in India, there are so many products are available that says that it improves the immune system actually. But when we listen to the doctor, especially Doctor Philip you have given a very important information how to taken care the patients against the COVID virus. There are lots of herbal medicine and the nutraceuticals available into the marketplace, and we know that these are really helping out. But fish liver oil actually helps out, and I'm using this, and it improves really the immune system, the energy level, and everything. So, other than the fish liver oil, I cannot say that those the herbal medicine or the alternative medicines are really very scientific data available that supports that this improves the immune system. Actually, yes.
So I think that there's a lot of questions.
Any question, please?
I think the probiotics, there are various things which we can with which you can immune your boost your immune system is like with all sets of probiotics which really take care of as Dr. Philip said which really take care of your gut, so that basically in our Ayurveda, if you go conventionally back to the era much before, so all everything, every disease, every this thing starts from your gut. Basically, that Ayurveda believes in that. And if your gut is weak, so you are susceptible to all the infections from outside. So, firstly, I think the gut should be taken care of with the probiotics and with the some supplements. The a good supplement which is available in the market. And thirdly, as Mr. Mohammed said, there are herbal medicines. All sorts of herbal medicines which are tried, untried in the market. But then which is all actually on a trial basis. These third set of this third point which I'm talking about is the herbal medicines, which is on a trial basis, which we really don't know how it works and what it works. If it works, then something should be done. Then and after that, warm water, which if you squeeze lime in the morning and you have it, you gulp it readily after getting up, and then have a half a liter of water, at least a full glass of water, which detoxifies your body also. So these are some of the things which can be taken care of. Plus there are a lot of yoga. Yeah, true. So there are a lot of yoga exercises. There are a lot of deep breathing exercise which boost your immune system also.
You know what
Yeah,
the perfect yoga would be for this situation is Bikram hot yoga, which is done in a
Yeah.
very hot room that's
Okay.
humid. So heat,
True.
the virus does not do very well in heat. It does not do very well in humid weather because you need humidity to really keep the hair follicles in your nasal passages clean. The humidity helps push the pathogens out of your mouth down your throat.
totally.
There's a certain temperature where
Mhm.
the virus cannot
In
survive
that
very
in that
well.
case, probably you can inhale. You can take steaming. You can do the
Yes.
steaming, or
Yeah.
probably if you have those people have those steam rooms inside there. I'm sure the gyms are closed in Delhi in India. So if at all these services are available anywhere around the world, so people can use those steam inhalations, and so that they can take care of the moist air comes in, and as Dr. Philip said, these things can be taken care of well.
I tell you, Doctor, you've introduced me to something that is old age. When I was younger, was rinsing your mouth with hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah, and it's a lost art. You could even put a few drops on your toothpaste and brush your teeth.
And we used to do that a long time ago to clean our gums, right? That was a practice we used to do. The other one is oil of clove. You used to smell it in the dentist office. It's a very much natural anesthetic.
This is clove. This is clove oil.
Yeah, clove oil. I use it a lot.
Yeah, which is
because it's an anesthetic.
Temporary sedative agent. Yeah.
And mints. But you're right, hydrogen peroxide. And if this virus is weak, like you said, hydrogen peroxide is going to get to it and break it down.
Yeah.
More so than water, because hydrogen peroxide is pretty strong. So So and you say mix it with.
You should use it not on a regular basis, because sometimes somewhere down the lane they have their own drawbacks. So
you don't want to do it too often, because if you don't want to kill off the good oral biome in your mouth, because most of the bacteria is beneficial. It's just you want, in case you get a bad bacteria or virus in your mouth, you do it occasionally. Yeah.
Right. You're right. There's a balance, right? Because we need some bacteria.
Probably you can use it with water, 1:1 ratio, and then you can use it on a daily basis if at all you want to use it.
Or Listerine.
Even the Listerine, you don't want to do that too often, because that'll kill the good bacteria.
Not Listerine. I would not recommend Listerine, because it has strong alcoholic content.
Maybe the Listerine if you have symptoms, like if you have a sore throat, then
probably a good mouthwash. Any other good mouthwash, which is nowadays the mouthwashes are coming with ADS system, which is anti-discoloration system. So even long basis, it doesn't discolor your teeth. There is no stain in your mouth, Or if the issue is it is a little pungent, it is a little stingy, or which is burning, giving a burning sensation in your mouth, probably you can use 1:1 ratio with water.
Yeah, maybe some salt water.
I'm not pro Listerine. I'm not pro Listerine because.
So there's so many. I think there's some good health practices though we just need to get into. And while we're at home and you're bored, maybe it's time to make these practices part of your daily habit. I learned a long time ago that it takes about 30 days to establish a good daily habit. And we've gotten out of these daily habits.
I heard about 21 days. It is a 21 days, which is,
Kim, we should bring somebody at the FDA on, because here's my understanding, and I do not work in the area of Food and Drug Administration, but my understanding is that they claim they have no jurisdiction over the herbal medicine and alternative theories, and because there's no ability to patent it. In other words, like ginger has been known to solve stomach problems. I've used it, and all I can tell you is it works. I don't know. But because they can't patent ginger, no one studies it, because the pharmaceutical industry, at least in our country, usually supplies the money for the study. Okay.
Well, because it's like Dr. Hughes, that they're not making money off of this.
Exactly. It's because they can't. Because if you cannot patent a product, then there's no reason to actually fund the money for the study for the product. So we really need to talk to our friends at the I have that book actually. Yeah. You have to talk to the people at the FDA and say, okay, what is your jurisdiction? So you know where the holes are in the legal structure when it comes to that. Yes, it's a good book. Yes, we have that book, Garden Herbs. But that's one of the jurisdictional issues. The other jurisdictional issue is, of course, what Dr. Yu brought up, is the Federal Trade Commission, otherwise known as our own thought police. Now, in the area that I work in, the area of securities and insurance, it is a real function. In other words, Max Culette, my business partner, whose securities license, there's a whole litany of things he cannot say because it would violate the SEC rules. And it's the same thing we have in the Federal Trade Commission. You say certain things, you do certain things here, well, you violated the FTC rules, and they do come down on you pretty hard. So all these alternate theories actually get compressed, and they're basically thrown out. It's just like, well, there's probably certain things that actually do cure this thing right now. But because they haven't gone through clinical trials and they haven't been, quote, proven, then they sit on the shelves. In other words, and the people I've seen that are the best developers of product are the MD PhDs who sit in back rooms who you never talk to. Okay. And all they do is develop these products. And I know a couple of them in Seattle. They're brilliant people, and they develop the product and then they send it out to everybody, along with the drug pushers who go to all the medical conferences. I used to go to these medical conferences to present what we did, and guess who was there? All the drug pushers. We're at the medical conferences telling the doctors, oh, this is what you should give your clients. Here's the study, and this will all work. And it's
at the end of the day, I don't trust anybody from the pharmaceutical industry. I trust my doctors. Like I know Dr. Yu, I know Dr. Galati. I trust my doctors.
They get their information from the pharmaceutical industry. Okay, that's how powerful it is here. I mean, it's just, like I said, I don't know what it is in India, but it is extremely powerful here.
Well, we're the only country that has no limit on what a pharmaceutical company could charge for a drug.
Of course.
No negotiation with Medicare.
Right.
They could mark it up thousands of times. And that's why, our cancer drugs are the most expensive, and they're bankrupting a lot of households.
Sure.
You mentioned clinical studies.
Right.
Most of them, the data is manipulated.
Well, yeah. Well, it's funded by the pharmaceutical industry.
Exactly. So it could appear to be safe when they submit it to the FDA.
Yeah.
But in all reality, these drug companies, they manipulate the data, make it look like it's safe. They have all these lobbyists in Congress, 2 pharmaceutical lobbyists for every Congress member to push their drugs through. Yeah. And look what happened with opioids. It kills 100,000 people a year, And finally, they're starting to crack down on these opioid manufacturers. It's crazy.
Right. Because if you
add,
yes.
Just to add one thing, which is very important for viewers right here. See, herbal, there is no pharmacology for the herbal products as such across the world. So then when we talk about the dosage schedule, so dose is very common, 2 capsules a day. But in case of allopathic medicine, we have the dosage designed by by weight and all. So it is mandatory. So for efficacy and safety, dosage should be designed on the basis of the body weight, not on the basis of just on the remedy. For example, cough, take a 2 capsule a day. No, if a person is having weight more than 100 kg, it should be designed as per the body weight. Second, clinical trial is mandatory to say anything effective or safe. So clinical trial and bioequivalence study is mandatory. But in case of herbal, we have few products clinical trial, but we don't have any bioequivalence study. So these things are very mandatory. We cannot say this is very good or this is very bad. We can say good or bad on the basis of data we collected on the basis of clinical trial or bioequivalence study. We have ancient information that herbals works and it cures remedies. But where is the proof? Where is the pharmacology? These are the mandatory things. And the pharmaceutical industry, those who are pushing the product, they are pushing just to earn money. They are money-eyed actually. We should not be money-eyed. We should be taking care the life of the patients first. For example, there is Tulsi. Tulsi is very much effective immunomodulator. Glow is very good immunomodulator. They really work, but they don't have the clinical trial as such right now and the pharmacology.
Right.
So we don't have any trust as such. So we have to point out these things.
Yeah.
I wish China was more open to what their research has been. If anyone has any contact with him, it would be nice to have just this natural whiteboarding session where we can share some data and research, because they've been dealing with this since, probably November, from what I've been told, We all say it was December, but I think it's been since November. But it would be nice to be able to globally share this data and understand what has been some solutions, resources. Where do they think the natural ground zero is? Because we're speculating. And, but I am going to say this just as a disclaimer and a precaution. There are a lot of good resources that we talk about today. Do not self-treat without talking to your physician. Please do not self-treat. Let me explain why. Many of these herbs that we use are also compounds in the medications that they give us. You can easily overdose any one of those if you switch to this. So please, when you talk to your doctor, share with them and your physician what you're doing naturally so that when they prescribe you something, it doesn't double impact your body or it doesn't cross and make issues. I was thankful because I had also a good pharmacist when I had a lot of doctors who were prescribing me a lot of different medications, and she was able to pinpoint, oh my gosh, Kim, does your doctor know you're taking this? Because this will cross over and be bad. So make sure you discuss with your physician everything you do. Am I right, Dr. Yu and Dr. Mohammed?
Yes, and this video broadcast is for educational purpose only.
Only, right?
We don't claim
Absolutely.
to make any claims on prevention,
Nope.
cures, mitigation, or treatment of any conditions we're talking about.
Absolutely.
These statements have not been reviewed by the Food and Drug Administration.
He's
Check
doing the
with your primary care physician if any of these recommendations are right for you.
He's doing the
That's
great
our
legal,
disclaimer.
he's doing the great legal disclaimer.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
All of these doctors know.
Yeah.
Please talk
And by the way, that applies worldwide because unfortunately we broadcast all over the world. But you brought an interesting thing, Dr. Yu, about the opioid epidemic or people dying
crisis.
here. Crisis. It's 5,750 people a month in the United States die of opioids.
That's just the U.S.
Okay. In the U.S. I'm not looking at India. I don't know if you guys even have that problem over in India.
Yeah, it was up to 100,000 one year.
Well, 100,000. Okay. But
Yeah.
with that in mind, what happens, it becomes an acceptable mortality statistic. So right now, everybody accepts that and nobody goes crazy over it at all. Yet, more people have died of that than they have of the coronavirus this year, and it's coronavirus has become a non-acceptable statistic. And just like I was telling people, I said, look, the realities of heart disease in the United States, it's more than 50,000 a month will die of heart disease in this country. But that's now an acceptable mortality statistic. So we have in our country all these what I call acceptable mortality statistics. Coronavirus, the reason it's driving people crazy, it's not an acceptable mortality statistic.
Well, it's also not controllable.
It's not controllable. Yeah.
The heart diseases are somewhat controllable on an individual basis with your physician, but the coronavirus can be spread uncontrollably to innocent people who have no idea that you're contagious.
Yeah.
So it's uncontrollable at this point.
Yeah.
The other flus are there are things, just your standard flu, but I think Dr. Yu and several other doctors have shared with us that the coronavirus is unique. It's not just the flu. It's very unique and different.
Yeah.
In the way it attacks our body. Ground zero is the lungs. It can destroy the lungs.
Mm-hmm.
But we're victimized by it in a different way than opioid overdose. These are things that humanly we can and should control.
Yeah.
You can't control this virus right now.
But this was also predicted that eventually the thing is there would be a virus that would mutate like COVID-19. This was predicted years ago and create a pandemic. It's just like saying the San Andreas Fault. Eventually, out west will create a big earthquake, or there are going to be fires out west. I mean, there's some things in predictive analysis that you can rest with a certainty that there's going to be earthquakes in the west, and there's going to be fires in the west, and there's going to be a pandemic at some point in time. But we didn't have any plan. What are we going to do if it happens? We had no plan whatsoever. So what we're doing is flying by the seat of our pants plan, which really is doing what we're doing, is basically saying, okay, shut everything down, quarantine, and wait to see what happens next, hoping that the warm weather will mitigate this, which is quite possible, and hoping that it will, like they say, flatten the curve, that less people will become infected. So I think India did the right thing, actually, shut it down for 21 days, and then come back and see what happens.
Well, so did Canada. Canada accepted their last flight a couple of days ago.
Right.
We see in Australia, they seem to be 2 weeks ahead of whatever's happening in Australia. 2 weeks later, it happens to us. So I think these are data that we can use to our benefit.
Yeah.
Doctor, you gave some sound advice in one of your videos about distancing, about just staying home. Some of the things that we need to be doing. If we get it, we still need to stay home. Use your phone.
It's
your doctor.
In reality, it's only a half measure, because eventually we will have to go outside. Eventually, I think everyone will be exposed to the virus, and it's going to become one of those seasonal, influenza type situations where, you're just going to get it. The question is your immune system going to be strong enough to fight it off?
That's correct.
Because just because it's going to be suppressed by social isolation doesn't mean it's not going to come back.
I agree. You're a status person. I mean, in any doctor's profession, you have to be. But one of the things we were discussing is the stats that we're hearing today are really from 10 days ago, because the test results generally take about 10 days. And we're also aware that there are not enough test kits now. So the stats we're seeing today are definitely probably a lot lower than what they really are. What is your thoughts on this?
Well, it behooves me that we are the supposedly the most advanced nation in the world, the most advanced, Medicare system, healthcare system, if you will. We're using 13th century technology for 21st century pandemic. Social distancing, wash your hands. We don't have N95 face masks in the hospitals, proper shielding. We can't protect our frontline, our healthcare workers, staff. Yet in China, they built these hospitals in days, and they had level 3 protection, face masks, the sterile clothing, the shields, and they suppressed this outbreak. And here we're just running around with chickens with their heads cut off and totally taken by surprise. It makes you think, how come they were so much well prepared?
Well,
yeah.
Well, also what you said.
Was this a man-made virus? Is it a bioweapon? We don't know.
But see, the United States.
I agree with you, Dr. Yu.
Yeah, the U.S. does have a little bit of an arrogance about it, being the world's largest economy. But that doesn't mean it's the largest economy if you take the whole world and together. It's just like Sasha, who's a chess player, and so am I. Is the world chess champion in the United States, or is he from another country? Sasha, where's the world chess champion from?
Yeah, Illuminati, Bilderbergs, they're spread out in the whole world.
Right. So. The world chess champion is from Norway. Yeah. Before that, he was from India. So the thing is, if you look at some of the top players in the world, they are from all over the world. And if you look at the top medical researchers today, it's not just the United States, it's all over the world. So what you want to do is actually get the world demographic together, because no matter how you look at it, 7.6 or 7.8 billion people, the top person there is greater than 300 million.
But as far as healthcare facilities, I mean, we probably have the most hospital beds, hospital chains like Kaiser. Urgent care in every street corner.
Come on,
there's no comparison.
No, I would agree. Per as a country, yes.
Yeah. But it's just the system is a broken.
If you took
the
broken
model,
you're right.
It would be a whole different story.
I think complete with limited countries in middle resources, they have done as compared to countries with bigger money and bigger politicians, because countries like Macau, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, they have done a brilliant job fighting with Corona rather than what we are doing here right now. And I was following the Dr. Tudor from WHO, and he mentioned that there are three ways to fight with coronavirus. One, you can attack. Second, you can wait and watch, and third is isolation. So a lot of countries have attacked them, and they are still attacking it, and the life is still going on. They are taking all the precautions. Those countries are South Korea, Singapore, and Macau. And countries who have isolated are like India, and then Europe. After those pandemic happened in Europe, I think they are in stage 3, but they are in an isolation mode, and so that's why India took a bold step and locked down the country for 21 days, so that at least we can save some life. Because as Dr. Yu said that we have to have a life after Corona as well. So Corona is a part of our life now, but it's just that how we have to deal with it on daily basis. We can't stop traveling. We can't stop going to other countries. We can't stop socializing. We can't stop eating, and we will do whatever we would be doing earlier, and we will be doing again. It's just a matter of 21 days. But after that, we have to deal it like swine flu or influenza or things like that. And also. I think we have to get united and talk about what are the solutions about Corona, not about Corona, about there are a lot of other viruses which might affect us in future. So, are we ready for all these things, Doctor? You can you say something about it, because today is Corona, but there might be some other viruses hitting us in
Well,
near
if you
future.
look at history of virus outbreaks from animal sources, like let's take the bird flu, the avian flu, right? So
Yeah.
everyone was freaking out about that. They said there's going to be a pandemic. It never really was the outbreak they made it to be. In fact, Roche Pharmaceuticals, they developed this Tamiflu vaccine, right, to prepare for this supposed pandemic that never happened. So government spent billions. They stockpiled billions of dollars of this Tamiflu. Somebody made billions of dollars. And now Roche Pharmaceuticals is scrambling to make a vaccine for this supposed coronavirus. So it's very suspicious. I mean, somebody's going to profit from this, and it's not going to be Main Street. Let's put it that way.
You
So
put a
I'm
good point
very
there.
suspicious and wondering if they're gonna mandate that every American and child has to have this vaccine, just like our children. There's a new law now to go to a public school in the U.S., at least in California. Your children has to have a vaccine,
It's here too.
which I disagree with. There's a lot of toxins in vaccines, mercury, aborted fetus parts, and who knows if the vaccine is a vehicle to weaken your immune system, so these viruses make you more sick faster. Now we have 5G. 5G puts stress on your body. It lowers your immune system, which could help trigger these viruses as well.
I've not heard of 5G. What is that, Dr. Yu? That's
well,
something.
5G is like right now your cell phone works on probably 3G. All right.
Okay.
There's an electromagnetic field that is not
Yeah.
healthy for your body. In fact, the warning label on your iPhone is don't have it on your head.
Right.
It can cause, cancer, right?
Right.
And those studies were done on grown adults with thick skulls. So should a 12-year-old put a cell phone near their head, let alone 5G Wi-Fi going through your body, right? Putting dangerous electromagnetic fields into your body and brain. It's like an antenna to attract heavy metals to your brain.
Yeah.
Heavy metals are neurotoxins like aluminum, right? Mercury, amalgam fillings which leak mercury. When airplanes fly over the head, they can leave chemtrails of aluminum. Those aluminum is inhaled through your nose, goes in your oral mucosa, and then those metals get in your brain, and it works like as the perfect antenna for the 5G electromagnetic fields, right? To really reap havoc on your immune system and kill brain cells. You cause brain cancers, so there's a lot of moving parts here,
There's so much that we do on a day-to-day basis. Maybe shutting down for 21 days is not a bad idea. We've talked about not putting this up to your face because you put it in so many places, your hands touch it, so many times to make sure you wash it. But there's also another reason, and that is, I guess, the 5G. When you were talking 5G, I thought maybe you were talking medication, not. But yeah, you're right. 5G is very dangerous. It's designed to go through walls. 5G is designed to solve the Z-axis solutions because they want to be able to track on a Z-axis level. And so 5G is very powerful and it is very dangerous. It is very dangerous.
All right, let's go back to the why are there not more clinical trials on natural compounds like vitamin C, which two-time Nobel Prize winner Linus Pauling claimed that, yes, it can prevent and treat the common cold, right? And here's why, just like was mentioned earlier, these natural compounds, you cannot, when you do a clinical trial, all the compounds in the drug or the molecule needs to be predictable. Like a drug, you can predict the milligrams, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you do what's called a IND 351 clinical trial study, that's an investigational new drug. It can take 17 years and cost $1 billion. So what pharmaceutical company is going to invest in a natural compound that you cannot really control the molecule as far as the exact number, the milligrams to the dot? You can't patent something. You cannot control the amount of compound that goes into it. All right. Like Tylenol, they can say, oh, this is, a certain amount of milligrams, or, this is Motrin, 800 milligrams. That pill is 800 milligrams, right? But you can't say that with a natural compound. And that's the problem with stem cells. Each stem cell batch, each umbilical cord has a different amount of mesenchymal stem cells per quantity, let's say 1 milliliter or 1 cc vial. You can't predict it to exact, milligram, if you will, how many stem cells are in that bottle. And that's why Big Pharma is not going to invest in a trial or patent it. So,
you're right about that because that's a lot of money. I'm in startup businesses. I'm an entrepreneur. I preach on this. We have what they call now financial engineers. They come in and they tell you where to cut corners and how to cut corners. And that can be very dangerous when you're in clinical trials to cut corners and you got your financial people telling you to cut these corners. So there is no real answer to this, but you mentioned something earlier that I think we need to get kind of back to is but even back in the caveman days when our bodies first started to evolve, we were naturally putting foods into our body that our body naturally needed anyway. Now today we want to take a pill to fulfill that need that our body needs. But there are natural ways that we can get these compounds in our body at the level we need them. And I think we just need to get back to that,
Yeah, I think, I don't know if you guys believe in a God. I do, or a Mother Nature. I think,
I do.
We are being humbled out that, we think we're the dominant species on the planet. We think we can build the best technology and become gods in ourselves when, I think there's certain things that we're playing with, God's created nature. And who knows, maybe this virus was put out just to humble us and get back to our roots, loving other people, the golden rule, treating others as yourself, getting back into nature, making sure our future generations have healthy foods, organically raised crops, organically raised animals for human consumption, taking care of the planet, clean water, getting rid of plastics or recycling them. The big plastic. There's a big plastic floating island in the oceans, big as Texas.
Yeah.
It's poisoning our seafood life. It's
sad. And
Yeah.
you couldn't have said it any better. But here's the thing, maybe our gods, whoever we worship, maybe they are answering our prayers of every day when we go to work and we say, I wish I could stay home a little longer.
Well, yeah, now you're focusing on the family. You're actually eating at the table and conversing with your children and your
God
spouse.
just answered our question. God answered your prayer.
I mean, where's family time now? People are on different schedules. Everyone's usually on their cell phones.
Yep.
And now we can just have a normal family unit. Focus on the family. Yeah.
Because, if you've ever seen, one of my favorite moments in a movie, I always kind of refer to some of these sometimes, is Under the Tuscan Sun. And she's sitting there and she goes, I didn't really get this or this. And he goes, no, look, you asked for a family, you have a family. You asked for this, here's this, look around you and see what you've really been asking for. And maybe God has answered all of our prayer. All of our prayer every day when I would drive to work or have to go out of town, I go, I wish I could have stayed home a little bit longer.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe he answered our prayer.
Because we're so busy these days. I mean, everything's moving so fast exponentially. And we're flying all over the place. And, we're on the phones getting the latest news updates. And now we're forced to slow down and enjoy nature more, enjoy our family, and appreciate our relationships. So, yeah.
And
getting back into natural foods, yeah. Sunlight, grounding, getting in contact with the positive electrons of the earth. Walking barefoot on the grass, dirt, or even cement, getting those electrons from the earth, the good electromagnetic fields that we're designed to, be in tune with. So
I tell people, plant a seed right now and watch it grow with your children, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
21 days, that seed's going to pop up and you're going to see something beautiful.
Not these genetically modified seeds.
No.
Not these genetically modified weed killers. These frankenfoods. Corn, soy. Genetically modified seeds. We got to get back to organic, grass-fed. Products.
Right, the organic grass-fed. I mean, back in the day, when I was growing up, we didn't have all of this. We had it in science fiction books, right? But everything that we wrote in science fiction seems to be coming true. And it's just, you have to think about the mindset of the people who wrote those books. We actually have flying vehicles now. It scares me. But autonomous driving vehicles scare me. But in all intents and purposes, I think we have intentions of doing something good with these things. But someone one time told me, Kim, good intentions can be a road to hell. So you have to be careful what we do. I appreciate everyone joining us today and sharing with us all of these great, wonderful things. We have a little ambassador, my niece in India, Amishi. She shares with us the good habits and social habits we need. Ankit, are you able to share Nishi's word for us? If you don't mind, I'd like to share her message because the children are our future.
Coronavirus से कैसे बचेंगे? Okay, hand होकर और ऐसे अपने खांसी जब आएगी तो ऐसे करेंगे अथू अथू और कोरोना वायरस को धन्यवाद हमारा म्यूजिक सुनने का.
Thank you very much. I hope all of you can join us again and maybe we can get your own TV shows going. We have so much that we're trying to do with IBM TV, but everything that we're doing is about facts, not fear.
Yeah.
And about learning how to get back down to the basics, education, information, communication, and transparency. One more question though, Dr. Yu. we're learning so much more about what this virus does to the body. Why didn't they inform us of this sooner?
Well, remember the Chinese doctor who, he discovered the first outbreak? Well, he disappeared kind of. So I don't know why the Chinese government, maybe they supposedly suppressed this information. Maybe they didn't think it would be the outbreak that it is. Maybe there was some conspiracy going on. Maybe it was made in a bioweapons lab near Wuhan. Maybe it was implanted by, the U.S. government, CIA. Who knows? Maybe it was a plan for all the communist countries, because we do have a currency war, to get an upper hand in the world's economy, because the U.S. stock market we're like in depression levels. I mean, that's how it's tanking. But if you notice, North Korea claimed they didn't have one infection. Russia doesn't have a lot of infections. In China, why didn't it go to Shanghai or Beijing? It's very suspicious. How come they were well prepared with building hospitals? They had all the protective gear. And now they seem to have this antidote for it, right? And they had all the testing kits. So how come the communist countries didn't get these epidemics and pandemics? So it's very suspicious. I mean,
it is.
Are the Chinese going to start buying all the stocks now that they're cheap? Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
But this is a good conversation to have another day about the financial impact and the political tactics that could be happening. If we could do this and schedule it, I would love to have this conversation. We've hit our limit for today, and I thank all of you very much for joining us. Namaste. Many blessings for a brighter future. Thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. Sasha, wherever you are, happy birthday. And I'm going to come see you when this is over.
Okay.
Happy birthday. And Ankit, do you want to sign us off?
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. And stay safe and stay calm, and don't be panic, and follow your physician's rule, and then let's stay healthy.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, y'all take care around the world.
Same here. We're going to sign off with the outro. All right, I guess